Joy stealer number 9, anxiety. What does the word say about that? Matthew 6:27 says, "Which of you by worrying can add 1 cubit to his stature?" There are times we all struggle with this joy stealer. Not intentionally, but unconsciously. We see someone driving a nice car and wonder, God, when will I be blessed? We live in a 1 bedroom apartment in a not so nice area and visit a friend's home who seems to have it all together and wonder, what did they do to get this? Not taking into consideration the hard work that they put out in order to acquire that. Or we see someone who hasn't been at the job as long as we have be promoted over us, and we're convinced it should have been us. And the list goes on. But we must not allow ourselves to be blinded by anxiety, so much so that we cannot be what God intended for us to be. So anxious we cannot be a blessing for looking for a blessing. We cannot find ourselves hungering and thirsting after things and not after righteousness. A righteous person in the Hebrew Bible, chief definition is one with ethical character. When we find ourselves longing for what has not yet been appointed to us, we end up in a slump. We end up distracted, feeling overlooked, unmotivated, and stagnant, and many times all out anxious. Just like stagnant water becomes an environmental hazard, so also will we become an environmental hazard because we're stagnant. So, how do we avoid this condition in order to eliminate the anxiety that comes with it? Here's what the word says. 2 Corinthians 4:18 says, "So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal." Our eyes and thoughts can get us in trouble, as Eve's eyes and thoughts got her in trouble. The Bible says in Genesis 3:6, she experienced the lust of the flesh. Physical pleasure is what that is. She saw that it was good for food. Then it was the lust of the eyes, visual appeal to the point of having to have it. The Bible says it was pleasant to the eye. And the pride of life, anything that is rooted in the world or world system, the Bible states it as to make one wise. Considering this one word, anxiety, in most cases, its only function is to steal your joy. Anxiety does not add to your life, but rather subtracts. Anxiety does not bring peace, it brings stress, it brings depression, it brings unexplainable tiredness, isolation, disease. You name it, that's what it brings. When these are dominant, there is no joy. When these are dominant, you have just been robbed.